There we go. Hey, folks. Welcome to our book release. We just lost Jason.
Why does Jason do this?
There we go. Add him back. There you are. Like deja vu. Hi, everybody. So both in, and I can definitely see that folks are seeing this in YouTube. If you are over in Facebook land, do let us know if you can see it. I am not going to click on that link because it will make chaos. So yay! Welcome. So I think we can do quick little introductions. I'll start since I'm the one talking. I'm Laura Tempest Zakroff, and you may know me from such books as Sigil Witchery and Weave Liminal and other such things. And today we're releasing Anatomy of a Witch. Jason, go for it.
So today we're officially releasing The Horned God of the Witches. I'm so excited that this book is out. It looks great because Tempest did the cover. I've been wanting this book to be out for 20 years. I'm just ecstatic. Most people don't seem to hate it yet. That's very exciting. So thank you all for being with us. As authors, it's really great to do these things because we miss you all so much doing the live stuff. This is a poor substitute in some ways, but it's also great because we get to see all of our friends from around the world, which is awesome. So thank you all for being here.
Yay. Finny!
All right, so today we're also releasing How Witchcraft Saved My Life, Practical Advice for Transformative Magic. This is my first book release, so it's really cool to be with veterans like Laura Tempest Zakroff and Jason Mankey because, holy shit, I'm in the same room as Laura Tempest Zakroff and Jason Mankey. Like, thanks for attending.
We're in the same room as you!
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
Oh, so with book releases, they are generally probably Jason and I could talk to the aspect of it of here you are with your book, hoping people are going to show up, and then you're going to talk about this book, and the first time is always really awkward because once you've introduced a book and you've talked about it a few times, it really develops its own persona, and I would say in my language, its own spiel for how you talk about it. But I can remember the first few books, like the first time out, it's like, oh, what did I say? Did I mean to say that about this book? What do you think, Jason?
You know, it is really hard. I practice in the shower in the morning, like, what am I going to say today? So if anytime my neighbors are like outside in the driveway next to me, they can probably hear me talking to myself, answering made-up questions about books that are due to be released. It's really good to practice.
I think Nathan does the same thing too. I can hear him talking about like preparing for stuff. Like if I open my mouth, like I think a lot in the shower, and I get so involved. Like I got so involved the other day about thinking about stuff that I got out of the shower. I'm like, did I even condition my? What was I doing? I don't know. Yay. So Vinny, it's nice that you don't have to worry about like, is anyone going to show up to the store? That
is the most fraught of all things. Will someone show up? And your friends will show up the first time, but there's diminishing returns. This is book 7. I'm probably glad that I'm not doing something locally because all my friends are tired of doing this every 9 months.
Right. I feel really fortunate to not be doing it locally because I don't have a lot of people here in South Carolina. Like I have 3, maybe 4 people that would actually show up to something like this anyway. So digitally, it's much easier, pandemic or not. Like I have family in Pennsylvania and like friends all over the world. So now they can be here with us, I think it's cool. I think they should all be done like this from now on.
We do both.
Mm-hmm.
Do both.
Yeah. Oh, next time, like have it digital and live. Yeah.
Matt, Lauren, come show up at our house, Mankey. Any day. You all have never given me your address.
I have it.
Yeah, Tempest has it. You all can have it. What was your best book signing ever, Tempest? What was your most fun?
Oh gosh. As most kind of memorable, there was a book signing in Austin, Texas at the Scarlet Woman Lodge. I hope I got that right. It's an OTO group. I think it was for the Witch's Cauldron. I've actually done a few since then there. And I remember being really nervous because it was like, oh God, all these OTO folks going to think of my little Llewellyn book.
Right.
And they served wine. So it really felt
That helps.
And it really was well received. So it was like to be so nervous and worked up over something and to find out that people really enjoyed it and then they also had me back. But it's so many that they kind of blur together better, which is great, better than the opposite where you're like,
right.
That one time.
I do remember the really bad ones.
That is why we drink.
Yes.
So I'm going to check out, there were a few little questions here. So Witchy Finger says, I can't stay. Will the recording be available yet? Yes. So on both Facebook and YouTube, you'll be able to go back and see the recordings. And I think it's the same URL. So what was the other one I saw here? Carrie asked, what is my book? Can't see it because I'm hiding it. It is Anatomy of a Witch. And we'll talk more about that one. Matt asks, is that with the original covers? So Matt, I think you're talking about the Witch's Cauldron. So the great thing about the Witch's Cauldron is that it never was released with the cartoon cover officially, even though I think that's what shows up on Goodreads. So it had the nice cover. It didn't look really goofy. Otherwise, I would have been even more deeply.
It was on the arc. It was on the arc.
Yes.
Yes. I'm the one who suffered through the cat cover and, of course, the infamous pumpkin cover on the Witch's Athame. My writing career almost never recovered.
Didn't you have a chance to tell them no?
Not for my first book.
Really?
Yeah, and they were so excited. They explained the concept to me, and apparently Deborah's broom book had done pretty well. So they were like, this is what it's going to be. And I was kind of excited. And it still hangs in my ritual room, the poster they gave me of the cover. But it was not good for sales, apparently.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, when there are events, like when we had PantheaCon or PaganaCon or something, they tend to print out posters for the hospitality suites. And then maybe if you're lucky, someone might send you a poster.
I need to go to these. There will be other books.
Yeah, there will be events again in the future.
Yeah.
I think that part of what was going on with those covers, like for Deborah's book too, is it looked like the vintage Halloween feel. Like that first one just was so romantic, it was romantic and it had that feeling without being too cartoony, but then it sort of skedoodled over to the side and went into another realm. So, all right.
Yes, Kelly makes a comment about how Mickey Mueller's book, people thought it was a kid's book. Mm-hmm. And I remember when she told me once she did a book signing in St. Louis and they sat her down in the young adult section. Like, isn't your book a young adult fiction book? And she's like, no, it's not. So people were very confused. We could probably talk about the Tool series covers for an hour because it's been dissected by many of us in the Llewellyn writing community.
But they're doing better now.
They're doing better.
Their covers are really on point right now. Where you did the covers of both your book and Jason's book this time, right?
Yes. I've
been
liking to do Weave the Liminal and Anatomy and Jason's, which was great. So I like doing book covers. Just put that out into the world for monies.
Everybody hire Laura.
Lisa asks, are you all with the same publisher? Yes, we are all with Llewellyn Worldwide, at least for this particular release of books. So yay. And that is the, I'm sorry, Vinny, I don't have your book physically here. Okay. So, but if you, Look for the little waxing moon. It's waxing, right? Yes, it's waxing. Unless you're in Australia, then it's waning.
Yeah.
All right. So maybe we should talk each a little bit about our book. So here's what's going to go. Here's what's happening this evening, as Miss Hostess being creature. So we'll each talk a little bit about our books. We have a quiz for y'all to take, an interactive quiz with Kahoot, which is going to be really fun. The first 100 people get to take that quiz, and whoever wins, I think we're going to do the top 3 highest scorers for the quiz are going to win all 3 books.
Wait, I want to play this game. Wait, can I play it? Can I participate? Can I be a winner?
You're going to put in your name is Jason Mankey. And then Jason's gonna
Yeah. There you go. I'll play as my husband. I bet he knows the answers. I'll tell him to play.
It's a shame Ari's still at work. Because we know she
Ari.
Yes.
Damn it, Ari. Get home. Play the game.
And thanks, Debbie and Laura. They like the artwork. So, yay, thank you. So, Jason, do you want to go first about talking about your book?
So, my first attempt at ever writing a book was a Horned God book. Oh, I actually think I have one left. This is the self-published version. None of this is actually in the book today, but this was my first attempt. Yeah, it's really obviously short, and I was still using my middle initial. I forgot to re-add that when I started writing for Llewellyn. But it's not very good, and Llewellyn rejected it, and wisely so. Then I thought to myself, I'm never going to try that again. Never going to write a Horned God book. And then one day when I was not talking to myself in the shower, I was just thinking, all of a sudden I had an idea, maybe I should write that book. Maybe I could. And I ran out of the shower, and I didn't dry off, and I didn't put on any clothes, and I sat right here in this space, and I wrote down an outline of the book. And a week later, I sent it to my editor, who said, Jason, I remember that book you sent me a long time ago. Why would I publish this? And I said, well, I'm a much better writer at this point, and you like me now. And she said, maybe one of those 2 things is true. However, why should we publish this book? And I, told her why. And Llewellyn really hasn't published a whole lot of Horned God books, or really God books, other than D.J. Conway's Lord of Light and Shadow many years ago, and I won't talk about that book very much. And so I convinced them to do it, and I sat down and I wrote a lot of it during COVID, and it was a hard book to write because this is such a figure that's so important to me in my life. I wouldn't be here without Pan. I wouldn't be here without Kronos. I wouldn't be here without the Horned God. And I didn't want it to make it sound like I was a non-believer because there's a lot of history, so it was challenging. But really, I think it's about what makes up the Horned God for modern witches, regardless of whether you're on a Wiccan path or a traditional witch path or whatever. It's for every witch. It's about the influences that have really shaped the Horned God in the last 200 years, and it's about the influences that have shaped the Horned God the last 15,000 years, because it reaches way back into history. It's so personal, and I sometimes still look at it and read parts of it and can't believe that I wrote it, and that these are the things that I love that are all in this book. And having Tempest do the artwork was something I requested because there's this picture of Kronos in our ritual room, and it's just so fucking amazing and perfect. And there's a pan, and when she painted that for us, I cried, I think, when I saw it. Because I love these gods so much, and I know that they whisper into her ears too. So to have her do this means everything to me. So I'm just so excited for people to read it. Usually I'm horrified when people are going to read my books because I'm they're all just going to hate it, but I don't think anyone's going to hate this one. And I'm so excited about people reading it and having it in their hands. And the response so far has just been so great and so gratifying. And I can't wait to hug all of you and talk more about this book. So, Vinny, it's your turn. There you go.
All right.
I showed you how to do it. It's easy.
There's the how-to. First off, can I just piggyback on Jason's book? I had a chance to read it, and I am not into the Horned God or anything in that nature. I think that I stray from that path in a more divergent way than than Jason would ever expect his readers to. And I got so much out of this fucking book. It was just ridiculous. Like, the introduction to understanding Pan and the Horned God from that perspective was really great. And like, I've definitely tried some of the stuff out of there to connect more to that spectrum as well. And I think it's great. So with that said, my book is How Witchcraft Saved My Life, Practical Advice for Transformative Magic. This is like literally blood, sweat, and tears in words. I literally transmuted my magic and life into paper and ink, and it's just kind of amazing because I didn't see this coming ever. I always thought I was going to write like fiction and memoir, and then I had this opportunity to pitch a book, and I was like, hey, I have this great pitch. And my AE, Heather Green, was like, probably not. And so from there, she was like, but this really works. And so I rewrote a whole outline, not knowing what I was doing. I literally had no idea. And I just reached out to the people that I did know who might know. And they were like, let's fix this. And Martha Kirby Capo actually totally looked over my outline first before I sent it in, and like helped me understand how to make an outline. And now I've written several. At this point, I've written 3 total so far. So I think I got the hang of it. And then the book was born. I can't believe I did this. This is all I ever wanted when I was 8. So like, yeah, it's here now, and everyone should check it out and find out how like magic helped save my life. But like, it's deeper than it sounds, I guess. Anyway, that's all I got to say, and I think it's Laura's turn now.
All right. Yay. See, breathe. Looks good. He did the thing. So, Anatomy of a Witch, A Map to the Magical Body. I had to rate some of my books into like how close they are to my heart, and I think this is the closest that I've ever written. And the most kind of, not to say scared, but really kind of nervous to put this out into the world, because it's very much something that I really care about so deeply and am so passionate about, for folks to embody their magic. And that's essentially, I'm going to put this down so there's no more glare. In what does it mean to embody the magic? Now, I've been practicing witch for over 2 decades. I think we're going on 25 plus years now. 20, all right, whatever math. And and I've watched the pagan and magic occult communities really grow and change over that time. And, thinking about the history of modern paganism and how it very much was part of this body experience, kind of the hippie that go out into the woods and get naked and watch for ticks and things like that. To be really, kind of physical in that aspect, to free ourselves from all of that, to like, as we move into the 90s, being so academic focused, and everything should have history and scholarship and that such, which is great. But we have like these 2 ends of the spectrum of being like, be totally out there and just feel it all, and be really academic and in your head. And the golden mean is in the center of being able to fully be in touch with your body, to see yourself as a spirit embodied, to incarnate in itself. And so anatomy goes into a system that I've pretty much recognized or developed over the last 20 years. And it's symbolic. It's these 5 different parts that can help you engage with your body as well as develop your path. The witch's lungs, the witch's heart, the serpent or the gut, the witch's bones, and the mind or the weaver. And each of these help us look at magic and really be able to feel magic in our bodies, to look at ritual, and ritual from those little tiny rituals that we do every day to the big moments, to trusting our intuition and working with the energy in our bodies, as well as learning to protect ourselves and to renew and recreate ourselves. And then we also have concepts of tradition, spirits of place, and ancestors, as well as the larger guiding force of being the star, being made of star stuff to guide our paths. Right. And so it kind of delves into all of these things together, along with the tarot. So from the Fool all the way to the Hermit card, we begin that journey of as the Fool, we become embodied in that moment as we leap off into this reality, all the way to the contemplative nature of the Hermit. And so all of that is exercises and sigils and rituals and inspirations. And I will say, though, it's a little book. It's a little smaller than Weave the Liminal. But it is a slow book, which means that it's going to be something that you return to again and again. It's not going to, you read this in a weekend and you've got it. No, this is witchcraft. This is something that is going to continue open itself up to you over time. So that's my book. Yay. Now I'm going to take some wine.
You earned that wine.
Whew. Damn straight.
Vinny, I just want to say, I remember the first time I read your writing, and I was like, this is fantastic. And right away, you do. When you've been doing this for a long time, right away who's going to end up writing a book, who's going to be an important voice in the community, who's going to have a dog behind them. You learn all of these, all these different things pretty quickly. And, you deserve to be here, and you should be proud of your work. And I'm so excited for you. I'm just so excited for you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry about the dog. I know you have a thing about that I'm not a cat person, but I couldn't get her into a big cat outfit, and it's just how it went.
I was expecting it, and I'm disappointed that the dog is not in a cat costume.
Yeah, maybe next time at the next book release that could probably happen. Who knows? But wow, that really means a lot, because Jason, you were the big chief in charge on Patheos Pagan when I was pitching my book, and then reaching out to you and Martha to write for the Agora, and just you feeling that way and me not even knowing it, then hearing it now just tells me that all the imposter syndrome I feel all the time is not probably really anyone else but myself.
You'll always have the imposter syndrome, though. I mean, I still have it.
Right. I'd rather have it. I like it because it keeps you humble about something that you're really good at. You know what I mean? It tells you that it's okay to not feel great about it, because then when you do, it's even better. So
it's a growing.
What was it? What?
I said it's a growing experience, right? It's a process with each book as well. We joke around and going whatever number book this is, but they're each such intimate. I think Carrie asked earlier about what does it mean to put this book out into the world, and it's it's really nerve-wracking, and for coming at where I used to work for being an editor of a magazine where we would review books in a professional context, and especially when it's going to go into print, right? Then it's only 6 times a year or 4 times a year. It's that's a lot of focus, and what does it mean to represent these books, and choosing and to do that to nowadays where everybody's got an opinion.
I will say, though, as somebody who writes books now, I don't ever like to leave bad reviews, right? I mean, sometimes it's really terrible, because I know how crushed my soul is when I read a bad review.
Wait, isn't Jason coined for saying there's no such thing as a bad book? I think that's accurate.
No such thing as a bad what?
Book? A bad book.
I think there are legitimately bad books.
Okay, never
when
mind.
I read one, I just don't talk about it now. I don't say anything. I know, because I think people are always trying. I think most people legitimately try to do their best. Maybe not Dean Koontz. If you've ever read a Dean Koontz book, it reads like an outline of a book with one really great sentence, and then the rest of it's a sketch. But
Jason, I disagree with you.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm gonna cut you off. Dean Koontz, he's got some good books. There's some.
Some. Yeah, for sure.
All right.
So I'm going to pull up a comment. So Charlene asked, I prefer to give authors the biggest amount of money. I got Jason's on his Etsy. Where can we give Vinny and Laura's book to support the most? So Vinny, Should I pop up that URL?
Yeah, I have an Etsy on my link tree.
All right, here we go. Show, look at that. So right there at the bottom of your screen, you'll see the link tree or the Instagram, which will also get you to the link tree. So that is a great place to go. You can also screenshot that if you know. I'll also post the links after we're done tonight. I will put those in the description, at least on the YouTube video. And then mine, here we go here. So right now for Anatomy of the Witch, I had enough pre-orders that are keeping me busy through Friday. I'm trying to get so many done a day. So probably on Friday or Saturday, I'm going to open the link back up because I wanted to get that first like 200 out the door. So I didn't have like, I get a lot of anxiety when there's like more orders than I can deal with because like I want to get everything out as fast as possible. So if you keep an eye out, especially for my Patreon, I'll announce as soon as they go up on Friday or Saturday, and I'll post it on Instagram too. So that way you can score a book. I'm going to take that off and go back to the comments.
I will say that I did about 150 of the Horned God, and I got so tired of doing them. I think I have one left, and I may not order anymore. So if you really want a signed copy, there's one left at my Etsy store. And if enough people bug me, I'll order some more. But my wife's like, Jason, this just seems like so much work. Is it worth it? And it is in a way, but yeah, it was a lot of work. So it's also good for authors when you buy our books at witch stores because you're supporting your community. It's good to buy them on Amazon sometimes too, because being in that algorithm helps us attract buyers that we probably wouldn't normally see. So no matter how you buy the book, we always really appreciate it, I think.
Yes.
Period.
Yeah, there's a question for Vinny. Carrie asks, is there a particular deity that reached out for you?
Yeah, I specifically work with Hecate. Sometimes Hermes has kind of been present with me since I was 8. So when it comes to things like writing and trying to communicate better, definitely reach out. During Mercury retrogrades, I definitely reach out. But my primary deity is Hecate, and I have a daily practice with Hecate. And everything about my magic follows calendar of Hecate for me.
That's good. Mary asked, for those of you who have Patreon, can you tell us about your sites? Jason, you just started a Patreon, right?
I did. I didn't think I would ever do that. Part of it was I wanted to divorce myself more from social media, and I wanted like a group of people who wanted to hang out and talk about things and not, get caught up in mocking others and kind of the meanness that you see a lot on Facebook. So that's a lot of it is just as a community, because the subscriptions start at $2, and I don't really expect anyone to pay like more than $2. And then there's rituals that I've written, like old things from my local Lansing zine from 20 years ago, which are embarrassing, which I would never post publicly, but you can see on the Patreon, and the book club, and monthly chats, like video chats, and just a lot of like stuff I do with my coven too. Some of the rituals from that go on there. It's just a kind of a way to reach out and build kind of an intimate connection with people who want that sort of thing.
Vinny, do you have a Patreon?
I don't, but I'm about to join Jason's based off of his description.
Thorn Mooney was my inspiration for mine.
My Patreon, it's been doing it now for about 7 years, I think. It is delving into the behind the scenes of my artwork. So you get to see, you can go back and see Jason's cover as well as his interior illustrations before anywhere else in the world got to see them, including Jason. I know. And every week we have a Zoom experience, which is on Wednesday nights, where we delve into some occult, magical, or artistic topic, usually a mini workshop or a lecture or discussion. And we also have Sigil School once a month too. So I'm going to pop that into the chat. It's Alchemy, OWLKEYME. Yeah, good. It shows up in there. So you can check that out.
Oh, you also get like excerpts from books in mine and previews of books that aren't yet released. Like the Witch's Book of Spellcraft, I've already shared the introduction from that, which doesn't come out until March. So you do get like early peeks into things, which I think is exciting. Thank you all for saying nice things about my Patreon. I had this feeling that I'd already screwed it up, and I've only been doing it for a month.
Laura, do you have like a pay scale, or do you just have one flat fee on your Patreon?
I think it goes from, I think there's 5 that goes from $1 to $50 a month. And I am totally fine if folks just join at $1, which still gets you access to all the Zoom experiences as well as our Discord. And thanks, Nova. Gets to hang out a lot in their Patreon. Charlene says there's not many witchy stores around where they are at. So, folks, the thing about Llewellyn is that any bookstore can order from Llewellyn and get it fairly fast, whether they order directly from Llewellyn or from New Leaf or any of the other distributors. So if you don't have a witchy store near you, but you have an independent bookstore or some other larger bookstore, check in with them, ask them, and they'll probably call it in and get it to you fairly quickly too. So you can also, I think it's at bookshop.org, which is your local-ish bookstores that are listing their stock online, which is another alternative to Amazon.
And ordering directly from Llewellyn, which helps Llewellyn. Doesn't help us very much, but it does help Llewellyn quite a bit.
Got another question from Martha for Vinny. So you should talk about writing this entire book on your phone.
Okay. Martha, listen, that's a punk move, but that's okay. Martha knows, because the whole time I wrote this book, Martha's like my little buddy. She's my writing lobster. We're actually writing a book together right now. That's my next book. But Martha knows that this entire book was written from my phone. Basically, Jason disappeared on us. Do you see that? He just left. He was like, I don't want to hear Vinny's story.
That's fine. The cat won't hear.
So anyway, I wrote this whole book on my phone. I used Word docs and wrote 60,000 words on a phone, and then randomly put it into went through Word docs on my computer at work sometimes, but on lunch breaks and the hour between the gym and work for like 5 months, I wrote this book on my device. And then it wasn't until I needed to put it into Word to send it to Heather that I actually used the computer to do it. But it felt right. It felt right. It was like the right place to write it. And let me tell you what, I cannot write the book I'm writing with Martha on my phone at all. Like the minute I start trying, I'm like, bah! Like I just become a little, I don't know, zombie or something. I can't do anything, can't breathe or think or anything. So that is very cathartically happening on a computer. So I feel like the second book is probably more professional. I don't know what professional means, but I guess it's more like that. But yeah, this book is very much like the complete essence of me, and so much that it was written on my phone. And like I have pictures on my Instagram of like, this is me writing at 6 a.m. in the parking garage at work while I wait to go in at 9. Like that's just how it went.
I hate typing out text messages. I'm like in awe right now. I'm like speechless. And it was so speechless I had to get up and get more whiskey. That's how I was.
It is amazing. The only time I write on my phone is where I've been sitting on my computer all day working on stuff, and I can't write another thing. I'm just going to go to bed, and I lay down, and then suddenly 6 different ideas pop up, and so I pull up the notes thing and like write some sort of blarg. Random sentences that I send email to myself and like in the morning go, what the fuck is this? They mostly make sense. There was another question here I missed from Jess, who's, how did you balance, Vinny, how did you balance writing with daily life and family? And congrats.
So it took a lot of work because I wanted to make sure that I was not ignoring my family, so I never write on the weekends. And I wake up at 3 a.m. so that I can get my writing done in time I haven't been to the gym since pandemic started. Actually, that's a lie because there was about a month and a half where I was because I was still working on site. But now I work at home, and so I just wake up at 3 a.m. and work until like 7, and then get ready to be on the clock for 8 hours, and then go back to it the next day. It's pretty much a like second job, but you just got to do it because you got to do, like what you don't want to in order to get what nobody gets. You know what I mean? And even if that is to say, hey, my name is on a damn book right now, like that's a big deal. That's big enough for me to wake up at 3 a.m. That's all I had to say.
Next question was Jason Mankey's Patreon. It is Pan Mankey at Patreon. I will pop that into the chat. Yes. Nope. It did not do. It keeps wanting to post mine. All right. Let's try again. I swear I'm not trying to send you just to my Patreon.
You can just support Tempests. It's fine.
There we go. Do the thing. It did the thing.
And it's worth pointing out, too, for a lot of people, sometimes I read weird things about writing in the pagan world, about how much money most authors are making and stuff. And it's really a small amount. And most authors have another job. They're working full-time, doing something else, and writing on the side. The few of us who are professional pagans either do 1,000 things, like Tempest does 1,000 things between art and writing books and other stuff, or they're like me and have a really good spouse, so most people aren't doing this full time and aren't making a lot of money, despite what you sometimes read online. It's a labor of love when you write a book.
Yeah, this is, I don't think at any point I went into this thinking, oh, I'm gonna make a ton of money. I wondered what kind of money I would make at the beginning. But like going into this, it was very much about the passion that I have for the craft and writing and, wanting to publish. I think that like we don't do this because we have to, and we don't do this because there's like no other option. This is something that we are making room for.
Sometimes you feel like you have no choice but to finish writing the book.
Well, like there's that too.
Somebody pushing you to do these things.
Yeah.
Jason, Crystal asks, is Jason Mankey and Pan Mankey the same account for Patreon?
I assume it is. I can't imagine anyone else has a Pan Mankey account. You're in my coven, though, so, you really don't have to do that, Crystal. I love you. You're a coven member. That's so sweet, but,
Let's see.
I know there was one somebody asked like what my favorite part of writing the Horned God book was, and that was like a while ago. It was like early, but I remembered the question, and so I thought I'd answer it if that's okay. For me, my favorite part was the Chrononos part. That was my favorite chapter to write because there's no Chrononos mythology, so to speak. There's just representations of Chrononos in art, and maybe only 40 or 50 of those. And so from those images, you can kind of maybe figure out how Chrononos was worshipped in the ancient world, but it's still sort of an open question. There are also female figures that look like Chrononos from the same area where Chrononos was most actively worshipped, which is mostly around modern-day Paris in France. And it just brings up lots of intriguing questions. Through the course of writing the book, sometimes I wanted it to call it the Horned One of the Witches instead of the Horned God, because I less and less think that the Horned God is just a guy anymore, that the Horned God encompasses a lot more genders and sexualities than a lot of people originally thought. So that was very exciting.
Deity, though?
What?
Is any deity just male or female, though?
No, I don't think so. They're deity.
Like, I don't either. Yeah,
right?
They're deity. They're the source. They're connection to the source. And like, I don't think that I like work with Hecate and think, oh, this is the divine feminine. I'm like, this is the divine universe. Like, this is the source. It has no sex. So like, yeah, I think ancient world would say Cernunnos would look like more female sometimes, or like have a female aspect of it. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, there's a female pan too, and there are also female green men in churches. So I mean, there's a lot of different sides.
Side note.
Yeah.
Side note. My husband is in love with the green man. Not a witch. Not a witch, my husband. We go any witch store, the minute he sees the green man, he's like, oh, I like that. I'm like, yeah, because it's the green man. You like the green man. He's like, whatever. I like the guy. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, green man's calling him. He don't know.
He'll listen. He'll get there.
He will.
I think it might be a good time to do our quiz, and then we can come back. I know there's a few questions. Charlene, answer your question real quick. The room I'm in is my studio, and the walls are technically, I believe they call it hummingbird. They'll call it drunken hummingbird. It's sort of a lemon lime color because I only have one window for this. But we'll get to a few of those other questions back, but I am going to throw this in here. So we have a 13 question quiz for you all that you can join up as well. Let's see here. If we can get this going. We shared it.
I'm so excited about this quiz. I don't know what your 4 questions are between the two of you. You saw my questions. They're terrible.
I went the overachiever route and added 6 just in case. Like Laura was like, "This is a stupid question." She could like nix it. So I'm interested to see what made it.
All right. So I might. Here we go. Classic. So it's generating the pin. I'm going to shut the music off here.
Jason, are you cold? Why are you wearing a hoodie?
It is it's very thin, but it's only
Yeah.
65 degrees here today in Northern California near the Bay
So that's
Area.
cold for you.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm wearing harem pants because it's that almost sort of cold.
Wow.
All right, sorry. I'm learning how to do this. I stole it from Corey Hutchison. So it's Kahoot.it is where you
Did
want to
anyone
go.
invite in Corey? Let's invite Corey and be like, tell us how to do it.
So if you go to, is it Kahoot? Yes, Kahoot.it. That is the correct address to go to. And you enter in the pin that you see there, 181-1488. And so, folks, so that we can tell who you are, if you would use some combination of your real name or whatever name you're using here, so we can say, oh, okay, this is the top 3 people who win. Crystal, you can totally have music at your end. I just can't have the music going and then everybody else and hearing that. So, I don't, if you have it, I'm not quite sure how, if you're doing it from your phone, you can probably click on it from your tablet. So technology, isn't it great? All right, so I see Melissa, I see a Jason, I see Ms. I.
If you click into a new tab, you won't like lose this page because that's what I just did because I want to see all of these questions very badly.
Crystal, if I share my screen, it's not going to allow you to click on it, though. So we can do that from everybody kind of seeing that here. Got 7 folks.
You thought we were going for a ride.
8, 9. Karen, when you join in there, it should say it's starting something up and we'll create a name for you. There's Mary. We're at 10. we doing? 11. Let's get a coven in here. 12.
Gotta have 13. Need 13.
Come
13,
on.
that's what I was thinking too.
13 contestants enter. 1 leaves with all the books.
All right, Sabrina's number 13. So let's see if I do share my screen so everybody can see at least. Window, Chrome tab, Kahoot, share. So,
Yes, Laura. Yes.
woo-hoo. I have to start the game, so we're kind of in the holding spot. So if those of you still trying to figure it out, just go to kahoot.it, and you see right in there the 1811488. And thanks, Lilith Fire. So yeah, ask for your pen, and then after that, you can make a different name. Okay, we got this.
Y'all, Lonnie
Ready to
Scott
go?
is in this quiz. How many think Lonnie Scott is gonna win?
Hey, Lonnie.
He's talked to at least 2 of us, probably 3 of us.
There we go.
Jason,
Yeah, sorry.
is that you? Are you in there, Jason?
Yeah, I'm in there. I'm gonna win your
Jason
book.
does not get to win. No winning for Jason.
All right, here we go. We're gonna play this. Ready? Hit start.
3, 2, 1. Quiz.
Whoa.
What year?
was Llewellyn found it?
I'll let Vinny read it.
Sorry, I don't want to read them. I don't want to read them all. My bad. 1968, 1971, 1952, 1901. We have 1968 for the win on this one.
Nope.
But you're wrong.
You're wrong.
Wrong.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's just a warm up, right? Next one. All right. So we are 0 up across the board. That's fine. Question number 2. Jason shares a birthday with what famous witch? Gerald Gardner, Sybil Leek, Doreen Valiente, Laura Tempest Zakroff.
Three answers. What?
All right. So we got 2 folks got it right. Doreen Valiente. Jason.
Yes. I know when I was
That's
born.
cheating. Cheating. Cheating.
All right. A good score for Rabbit. All right. Number 3. Vincent has written on several different online witchy resources. Which of the following is not one he has written on? Patheos Pagan, Witch with Me, House of Twigs, The Way of Witch.
8, 9. Wow, lots of answers.
All right. We've got 3 correct answers. It is House of Twigs. And Jason is in the lead. Lilith moving in, then Ivy, and then Rabbit.
Obviously, we'll give my book to somebody else.
All right. I have published 6 titles with Llewellyn. Which of the following is not one of my titles? Stirring the Cauldron, The Witch's Cauldron, Weave the Liminal, Sigil Witchery. We got 4 correct answers. And now we've got David, Rin, and Steph on the board. And Lilith is in the lead right after Jason, who doesn't count. Number 5. Jason has published 7 titles with Llewellyn. Which of the following is not one of his titles?
Hopefully I know this.
The Witch's Book of Shadows, Whiskey Witch, Transformative Witchcraft, The Horn God of the Witches. 8 folks have answered. The correct answer is Whiskey Witch, and 2.
Yo, only 2. Only 2 people knew that answer, Jason. They all think you're just Whiskey
it
Witch.
feels like a book that I would have written. It really does.
It's the next book. It's the next book.
Oh, God. Maybe it's the 14th book.
All right, number 6. Which of the following is not a witch's tool? A matchstick, a pen, a stang, anything can be a tool to a witch.
Oh, fuck, I missed it.
All right, 4 got it correct. Anything can be a tool to a witch. Where are we at? Oh, Lilith's still creeping up on there. Rin is moving up. Lottie, hey, Lottie's moving up on the board too.
Lonnie's on the board.
Right. The night and Jason first met, the temperature in the bar they were at was how many degrees Fahrenheit? 86, 74, 33, 110 degrees. Three folks got that correct. It is 110 degrees.
It really was.
It was
not exaggerating.
Yes.
Did you guys have a temperature?
It was ludicrous.
And my wife said, "Oh my God, is that Laura Tempest Zakroff?" And then couldn't talk the rest of the night. It's one of my favorite nights ever of my life.
Our next question. Collectively, how many cats do Jason, Laura, and Vinny have? 3, 6, 8, or 5? One person got it right. I have 4 cats. Jason and Ari have 2 cats. Vinny has no cats for a total of 6.
Bonus, how many dogs, though, does Vinny have?
Too many. Too many is the answer.
Where are we at? All right, not a lot of movement on the board there. Next question. Number 9. Which of Jason's books has won an award for the worst cover in the history of magical publishing?
We gave you a
Book
clue
of
earlier.
Yule, The Witch's Athame, Transformative Witchcraft, The Witch's Book of Spellcraft. 2 got it right. The Witch's Athame. It is, I don't know if it's the worst, but at least it won an award for it.
But why did 3 people think that Transformative Witchcraft wasn't great? That was a nice cover.
I know.
They're just picking whatever. Don't take it personally. So David is moving up right there with 2849,
Right,
and followed by Lilith and Rin and Ivy. Good going, folks. All right, here we go. Next one, number 10. Complete the following magical saying: to know, to dare, to will. To be yourself, to dance, to keep silent, to comment.
Oh, 2 people thought it was to comment.
In fairness, there's a lot of lag between what you see here and then what's on the quiz.
Wow.
All right. Cheese ball. Moving on up.
Moving up.
Okay. Number 11. I share a birthday with what famous witch? Gerald Gardner, Sybil Leek, Doreen Valiente, Jason Mankey. If you were paying attention, 2 of you know. Yes, our birthday is coming up in 5 days. Also share it with Yates and a few other interesting folks. All right. Steph is moving up on the board there. So right now we have Jason, David, Cheeseball, Lilith Fire, and Steph. Number 12. What is the title of the book that Laura and Jason co-authored? The Witch's Chalice, The Witch's Altar, The Witch's Altar, The Witch's Garter. Note, spelling is important.
Oh, this is tricky.
Haha. Yes, because they're 2 different statements.
Hey, Jason, we should write The Witch's Garter.
No more tool books. No more.
We almost did write The Witch's Cup or Chalice. So those
We tried.
3.
Yeah.
It was good. Good. I'm very glad that none of you answered The Witch's Altar with an E. We all just love you for that. All right. Scoreboard here. Steph and Rin moving up. So we have David, Steph, Rin, and Cheeseball. Here we go. 13. What's the best way to read a book on witchcraft? A paperback book, an audiobook. Any form that works for you, Kindle or ebook. Oh.
What?
Any form that works for you. Come on, folks. You're so cute.
One person. One person.
Here we go. Steph.
All right.
David.
Yay.
And it's going to be...
It's going to be Jason. That's...
Our runner-up is Rin. So, Rin...
So let's say Rin won third. Let's give
Rin-
books to all three of the winners. I'll make Llewellyn
Yeah.
do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, all right. I'm going to stop the share. Hi, everybody. Y'all did. I know it's fast. It was like 10 seconds seems like an awful lot of time, but it really did go by fast. Looking back at the answers here. So, Jason, you writing those down?
Oh.
Hold on. Oh, that's the end of it. Back to podium.
Yeah, back to podium.
Steph. So we got Steph, we have David, and we have Rin. So Steph, David, and Rin, please hit us up with your... Hit Jason up? Should we hit you?
Yeah. Email me at panmankey@gmail.com. And we'll figure it out.
Yes.
PANMANKEY@gmail. It's the name of a Pokemon with the god Pan in front of it. Pan Man Key.
Whew. That was exciting.
That was some high stakes.
Was. I mean, we all know that I'm the grand champion, but, you know, I'm willing to let other people win the books. So.
Jason cheated the whole time.
What? Ari's not home. I have no idea what's going on when Ari's away.
All right, so a few more questions. Carrie asked this one again. This is what I was going to get back to. Want to know if Vinny speaks to a journey in shadow work in his book. So do you talk about shadow work in your book?
I do, actually. I have a section about it, but I feel like the whole book covers shadow work. Basically, from the beginning of the book, the introduction talks about a moment in my life, like a memoir type moment, more than an antidote, literally something that I've gone through. And then if I had known how I could have handled it, and then the lesson that I understand now as a witch to work with these kind of things if they come up again. So I think that the whole book is exercise in shadow work, personally.
Excellent.
And a journey.
I'm pulling back for the other questions. See if we had a few more.
Zillowfire, email me for a consolation prize for trying and participating.
Here's a good one from... Go ahead.
I say give it to them, Jason. Send it to them.
Yes,
they took the initiative.
Bridget, to find this on YouTube, you just go to my YouTube channel and it will be there under the live videos. So kind of wrap things up, got a few more questions. Nova asks, for all, any suggestions on getting in the habit of writing consistently?
Who wants to go first?
I don't write consistently.
I try to write every day, and I don't make it like it necessarily, like I have to write 8,000 words or anything, but I try to write 500 words every day, whether that's a blog post, a letter, a book review. The more you write, though, the better you'll get at it, and it's like a muscle. So it's like working out. The more you do it, the easier it gets, the better you'll get at it. I could not have written books without being a blogger. That was really where I learned how to write for a modern pagan audience. Not that blogs are a big thing anymore, but, you know, just try to write as much as you can. It really does help.
Martha suggests Dead Panic. that works.
That works
the
too.
deadline.
You're not wrong.
That works very well. I want to piggyback on Jason. Like, I I think that taking the time to write every day, even if it's a couple words, definitely gets you there. And don't stop. Like every time you're like, oh, this is going nowhere, fucking keep going. I wrote so much shit before I ever got published, and at the end of the day, I got published. So, like, it's all about tenacity and persistence, as well as resistance to try not to succumb to what the world or your own mind is telling you, while also not ever giving up.
And sometimes you'll think you have the worst writing day, and then you'll go back and look at it, and you'll be like, "Wow, it really wasn't so horrible." You know, because some days writing is like pulling teeth. It's not fun. It's not glamorous, and often it really feels like work.
I've also had the opposite where I'm like, this is amazing. This is wonderful. I'm so excited about this. And I read back, I'm like, what the fuck was I talking about?
Yep.
I think we've all experienced that as well. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a thing. All right. Do we have any more? We've received a few more questions and we'll wrap it up. We have hit officially our hour, but we'll give it a moment there. And Spirit Said has a nice little sentiment here. Is also, don't decide that everything you write has to be great. It's important to write anyway, even if it stays in the vault. You can have ideas to improve it later. Absolutely.
That's literally what Jason did with his book.
Yes.
Yay. Well. So I wish we could sign all your books for you in person, and hopefully we'll be able to start doing that soon. What are you doing,
Jason's signing the screen. That's perfect. Do you guys sign your books when you send them?
Mac. It'll be fine.
What was that, Vinny?
Do you guys sign your books when you send them out to people?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So that would be the best way. Buy directly from us. If you guys want signed books, hit us up.
Tempest, though, when she does it, she writes clever things, and her handwriting is perfect. And mine is just like this giant scrawl that's very legible that says things like "Eo Pan, Jason." Because that's as clever as I can be.
I'm like a mixture of the two of you because I look like I'm a 5-year-old in my handwriting, but I try to be, as connected to the person that I'm sending it to as possible. So it's not so much Eo Pan as it is you are magic.
It was Tempest and I did one book signing together because we wrote a book together, and she'd be like, "Jason, you took all the room and said nothing," and she was not wrong.
Yeah, and it's a little book too, folks. So
It's a very tiny book.
It's a 6x9 book. It's this little tiny brownie of a book. They're just like, thanks, Jason.
Damn it, Jason. What are you thinking?
I'm used to hearing that. It's fine.
All right. Lonnie has a bonus question. What whiskey is Jason drinking?
If anyone could guess it, I would give them a free book, but that's not going to happen.
Does that count for me and Laura too? Because you told us.
I told you I was drinking a rye whiskey. That doesn't mean anything. It is a Basil Hayden 10-year rye.
Well, there's that.
There you go.
Fancy.
All right, folks. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. Sorry if the quiz was a little chaotic. This is a part of our learning curve here. We've got a few more questions coming in here. Boop. And it was a little bit of a lag. Carrie asked, how do you balance your artwork, writing, dance? Is there a medium that speaks to your heart the most? I can't do them all at once. I alternate. So some days are for working on art. Some days are writing. Dance is something I need to get back to doing. I kind of put it on the shelf while I was getting an Oracle deck and this book ready. And so I need to get back to moving. But I've been working my yard a whole lot too, which is its own dance unto itself, like with digging and bricks and stuff and leaning over. So it really depends on the moment. I'm a Gemini, so it's really like, oh, shiny, oh, shiny, ooh, that's shiny too. So that's how I work. So get that in there. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you for everybody Thank you, Vinny and Jason, for joining for our official virtual book release party.
Thank you for doing all of this work, Laura. Like, Laura put this all together. Basically, Jason was like, hey, let's do this. And Laura was like, I got this. And, like, fucking locked it down. Good job, Laura.
She's the leader of the Illuminati. We all know this.
It's true.
The Illuminati.
The boys club. I am the president.
Laura is the president of the boys club, as it should be.
It should be.
Yeah.
Thanks to everybody for being here. I couldn't, I've shared this moment with two better people. This has been really fun. And I miss all of you because I'm used to seeing a lot of you on the road. Hopefully we get back to that soon.
Yes. Soon we'll be able to meet in person and hopefully have festivals and such together again. And if not, then we'll be doing another one of these.
Yeah. No.
These are fun. These are fun. I want to give gratitude for everyone who showed up, whether you know all of us or none of us. Like, cool job showing up. Thanks for coming and celebrating this with us, because now we're all a little bit more lubricated and kind of going to a good night on the first night that all 3 of our books came out. So, thanks.
100%. Thank you all. And afterwards, if you want to hear cat songs, you can head over to Nathan's channel at 8:30 for Tuesday night concert, which is why we did this from 7 to 8.
Wow.
Yay. They're all.
Release the Kraken.
Yes, there will be Kraken released and songs about cats. So Spirit says, I think you should do these online anyway, in addition to person. We'll try. I think we'll try to do these. We'll see going forward. Definitely when it comes to events, having a virtual element so that more people can attend, I think is really important. And I hope this is something that we take with us from the pandemic, the lessons that we learn and the tools that we have taken, because all tools can be tools of a witch.
So mote that be.
Yes. All right. Thank you all. I'll have a wonderful evening or morning, depending where you are in the world, or afternoon. And if you have other questions, you can always hit us up on Facebook. You can ask them in the YouTube comments and such. I'll kind of monitor those from there. So thank you, Jason. Thank you, Vinny.
Thanks, all of you. Thank you, Tempest.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good night.